Hello, YouTube. It is January 8th, 2024, 9:10 a.m. Central Standard Time. A beautiful morning outside in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. It is cold. It is rainy. I love it. I love it. Love that type of weather. Call me crazy all you want. I think it's incredible. I really do. We got a lot to talk about. If you're watching this over on YouTube, you can check these out live on playback.tv/slightlybiased every morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you are watching this over on playback.tv/slightlybiased and you want to, maybe you missed part of the stream or you want to go back and just relive greatness, head on over to the Slightly Biased Clips channel. Make sure you're subscribed to that channel. I'm trying to get that to 1,000 subs so I can, start making money off of it. Got quite a ways to go. I really should just push it more, but I don't. I have a problem. Anyways, a lot to talk about. I did not stream last night. It was the first Mavericks game I missed so far this season. Just couldn't do it. I went into a huge spiel a second ago. I'm not going to go into it again. But hopefully, I'm back, and I am back. I could have played it 50%, but I didn't want it. I'm a perfectionist in a psychotic way when it comes to things that I'm actually passionate about. If I'm not passionate about it, like when it comes to slightly biased stuff, perfectionist. It has to be perfect, or else I don't want to do it. My job. I don't give a fuck. All right. Let's just start talking about it. Start talking about the Mavericks win last night, and what was probably like the on paper the best matchup of the night, I think, across the NBA. I mean, the Lakers-Clippers game was good. That was a great win for the Lakers. We'll talk about that in a bit. Raptors get another impressive win. We'll talk about that in a bit. Pelicans and Kings. The Kings just get their ass whooped any single time they played this Pelicans team. But I think the best game of the night, best matchup, was the Mavericks versus the Timberwolves, and the Mavericks get their best win of the season, hands down. Now, I don't think it was their best game. I think that they've played better games as a team. But just in terms of beating a team that is incredibly legit, like the Timberwolves, this is the first real legit win the Mavericks have had this season. They've beaten, teams above 500. I think the record was something like 1-9, 1-10 against teams with a 60% winning percentage or better. And I think that one win was against the Clippers before the Clippers really started rattling off wins. So even then, not that impressive of a win. This one is legit. And they've been building towards it, right? Even in the two matchups previously against the Timberwolves, the Mavericks lost both. I thought that they played fine. No Kyrie in either of these games. I think they've missed Lively in two of these three matchups as well. So, am I wrong in that? Didn't Lively miss two of these? No Kyrie in either of them. I know that for a fact. Okay, Lively played in the first one, and did he miss the second one? On the job research is what it's all about for us. Oh no, he did play in both. Okay, my bad. Either way, thought the Mavericks did a great job in this game. Thought that Luca and Kyrie together did what we know Luca and Kyrie can do, which is be the best and second best player on the floor in any given matchup. And I think that was the case. I know Anthony Edwards had 36. I'll talk about Ant here in a bit. But incredible performance by the Lukai backcourt. Incredible performance. A great defensive showing again from this team that is now quietly putting together a league average defense, and a defense that has been top 10 in defensive rating over the past few weeks. Like they've really, since December started to, they look like a legit respectable defense, which is what we've always talked about, where if this defense can be league average, this is going to be a good team. And since December 1st, the Dallas Mavericks have the 10th best defense in the league. So how about that? How about that? Mavericks 21st starting five last night. Yeah, and this team is still reeling from injuries. No Derek Lively in this one. Hopefully he's back soon. Grant Williams was back, so that was nice. But no Derek Lively, no Dante Exum. Those two guys have been incredibly important for this Mavericks team. Hopefully they're back soon. So I just really like what I saw. Kyrie Irving was electric in this game. Down the stretch. Hitting big shot to big shot. Had a huge stretch where he hit a stare down three over Kyle Anderson, was it? That I believe tied the game, and then a corner three off of a nice play by Dwight Powell that ended up giving the Mavericks the lead, and they didn't look back from then. And I was texting some friends, right? Because I'm not streaming the game. I still need an outlet. And I got to be honest with you. I kind of enjoyed watching the game without streaming. Because even though this was a tight affair, and it looked at one point like the Mavericks might choke this game away, it was a lot less stressful watching it without streaming. Because I'm not having to read the chat. The chat after every missed basket is fuck this team, blow this team up, trade this player and that player. It was just nice to watch it by myself, just kind of chilling. I thought that whenever the Timberwolves went on, I believe it was an 11-0 run to take a 6-point lead with 4 minutes or so left in the game. I thought the Mavericks were going to lose, but I was still kind of happy with what I saw. I thought that their effort was good and thought that they hung around well enough. But no, they instead decided to go on a 11-0 run to close out the game and put the Timberwolves away in impressive fashion of just clamping up defensively and Kyrie Irving hitting tough shot after tough shot. I mean, that's what you brought him in to do. And this was not, I wouldn't say a season-defining win, but this is a win that, you know, you could just see, all right, proof of concept, we can beat these teams now. We know we could have. We've hung tight in games that we probably shouldn't have considering our injury luck. And, you know, we just need to get healthy. But it's nice to see, all right, we can beat these teams. And it's funny because after the first Timberwolves game, Nick went on Locked On Mavs and said, even though the Mavericks lost by 18, this game was closer than the score might indicate, but that the Timberwolves would be a good matchup for the Mavericks in the playoffs. And I pushed back on that. I was like, I don't know about that. And hilariously enough, for some reason, Timberwolves fans flooded that comment section. I wonder if you guys are starting to see now why I'm just not like super in love with this Timberwolves team and haven't really been all season long, even though their record is great. They're still the number 1 seed in the Western Conference currently. I believe they still have the best defense in the league. Something about them to me. They had a crazy December schedule-wise where they played some tough teams, but the rest advantage stuff was insane. They played a ton of teams on the second night of back-to-backs, which I think is like a bigger advantage than playing bad teams at this point, with how back-to-backs are in the NBA now and how cautious teams are with back-to-backs. There's just something about their offense that rubs me the wrong way. Just got to be honest with you. But anyways, let's keep talking about the Mavericks. Kyrie Irving, winning play after winning play after winning play. He's been so good since coming back. He had that weird Utah game in his first game back. We can just completely and totally ignore that on New Year's Day. Maybe the guys were out a little bit late the night before. You know, I don't know. First game back for Kyrie. He openly said he didn't want to step on anybody's toes. Okay, whatever. Mavericks being at home and sleeping in their own beds will help with some potential fatigue. Yeah, that's true too. But in the 3 games since then, 2 against the Trailblazers and this game against the Timberwolves, he's been incredible. He's been assertive. He's done all the things that we've been wanting Kyrie Irving to do, which is I'm not deferring to Seth Curry. I'm not deferring to Jaden Hardy. I'm not deferring to Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm Kyrie fucking Irving. I'm going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay? Give me the ball and get the hell out of the way. And when he gets going, man, he is just incredible. I mean, he is just absolutely incredible. And Luca also, 34 points in this one. Shot wasn't falling at first. Started off pretty inefficient, but then turned it around, and I thought it was really good in the second half. Played good defense in this game against Karl Anthony Towns in the post. Only gets credited with 1 steal and no blocks, but he poked some balls loose. He did a good job against Cat in the post. He just did. 6 of 11 in the second half for Luka. 3 of 5 from deep. 17 points in the second half of this game. So, like, Luka being off in a game like this and still had 34 points, I thought played some really solid defense. Like, 34, 6, and 8. I mean, that's a pretty damn good game. I know you're a Shea guy, but won't you be upset if he was MVP before Luka? I just don't think it's just a weird award. I mean, I just don't think there's an actual argument for Shea over Luka at this juncture, other than the Thunder are just a better team, which to me is not really fair. I was especially impressed with Luka's rotations and closeouts. Yeah, and just the effort, the energy was really good from Luka, who missed the last game because of ankle swelling. Ankle swelling is what they had it listed as on the injury report, and he was questionable heading into this game. So, Windhorse says he likes watching SGA over Luka because Luka foul baits too much. No, I actually think I know exactly what you're talking about. I think what Wendy was saying was that Luka complains to the refs too much. I think that's what he was saying. So anyways, just a great performance. I mean, Kyrie Irving had 15 shots in the second half. Yes, please, more of that shit. Like, that sounds like a lot. I don't care. Kyrie Irving nearly had 30 shots. Good. That's good. That is fine with me. Let Kyrie Irving cook. I thought Kyrie actually, it's a joke that Kyrie said he wanted to be a power forward and stuff like that. Kyrie legitimately has moments where he's down low and just goes up for rebounds and either gets the rebounds or tips it out. Gets the rebound or tips it out, and it doesn't make sense because it's against guys who are 5-6 inches taller than he is. Mavericks star guards are both power forwards. It's just the small stuff Kyrie's been doing. So it's nice to see the scoring really start to tick up because now people are really starting to pay attention and be like, oh, Kyrie's having a great season. But he always was having a great season. It's just in a different way than I guess we're accustomed to. $27 rebounds the last 3 games. Yeah, Followell said it on the broadcast. I think it's the most rebounds in a 3-game stretch of his career. So Kyrie had 35 and only 1 free throw, and it's on a technical free throw. How? Yeah, Kyrie does not. I feel like Kyrie doesn't get a great whistle. But also his handle is just so insane, and he plays with so much finesse that it's like he does avoid the contact somehow. So anyways, I thought, and you look at the shooting stuff from the others, right? 4 of 20 from 3. Everybody not named Luca Doncic or Kyrie Irving combined to shoot 20% from 3. And some pretty bad misses down the stretch of this game. But I really think everyone else played well. Like Derrick Jones Jr., 1 of 6 from 3. I thought he was awesome in this game. Had that dunk on Gobert to seal it. Wasn't really a dunk on Gobert, but had the dunk at the end of the game, the dagger. I really like that. The possession before, Derrick Jones Jr. misses a wide open 3 that would have iced the game. Then comes back down the next possession, gets the ball in the middle of the floor, and just attacks. Attacks the rim, dunks it, game over. And he played some great defense again on Anthony Edwards, who had a nice scoring night, but Derrick Jones Jr. has been tremendous. He had an insane block, too, on Gobert. Yeah, a crazy block. Just some great moments. Some great moments from Derrick Jones Jr. in this game, who continues to be great. For the Mavs. I thought Josh Green's energy was good again last night. And just a couple other guys before we talk about them. I guess that's really kind of it. Rough shooting night for Timmy. Grant Williams was just okay. Some boneheaded plays. Yeah, Kyrie Irving was diving for loose balls out of bounds. I mean, it was a great performance by Kyrie Irving. And Dwight Powell, who for whatever reason just plays so well against his Timberwolves team in a matchup where he really shouldn't be good. Like, he really should not be doing as well as he has in this matchup. But he's been really good, man. And he was really good last night. He just was. He was great. 5 offensive rebounds for Dwight Powell. 4 assists, no turnovers. Played with a ton of energy. Was a plus 14. Jokic is just a bigger Powell. It was an impressive showing. And it's kind of made me think, the way that the Mavs have just, how their rotations have been and stuff this season, I sort of feel as if the Mavericks aren't going to make a move for a backup big. Because I don't want to spoil anything, but I think I'm going on Locked On this week in a non-Mavs game to really sit down and talk about trades with Nick. I just don't know who the backup center would be that they get in the trade market. I really don't. Because it's either a guy who's just not that good, or a guy who is kind of good, and that kind of leads you to some weird awkwardness. Like let's say the Hawks do blow it up, you go out and you get Clint Capella or something. Okay, well, how's that going to work? Is Clint Capella going to be cool with coming off the bench and playing 16 minutes? You know, is Clint Capella going to be okay with that? Because Clint Capella has been fucking terrible this year. So you're not trading him to start over Lively. I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's more likely the Mavericks, if they do make a move for a big, it's a smaller big who they feel comfortable can play like a small ball 5. That's how I kind of envision things playing out for the Mavericks. I think they like going small. I do. I think that's what they enjoy doing, which has its drawbacks for sure. There was moments, especially early on in this game, where it felt like the Mavericks were just getting crushed on the glass and they had no chance at all. Their rebounding was even with the Timberwolves in the second half of this game. And a lot of these offensive rebounding numbers for the Timberwolves, they had 11 offensive rebounds in the first half. I mean, they had like 3 or 4 different possessions where they missed 3 tip-ins. Grant was really good last night defensively. Nobody brought it up. Only like to shit on him. Well, I mean, that's the problem with these role guys is like they get shit on all the time. I mean, role guys across the league are going to have inconsistent nights. That's why they're role guys. They have ups and downs. And the lows, I feel like, get highlighted for role players more than like the highs. Like, for example, if the Mavericks ended up losing this game, let's say Derrick Jones Jr. doesn't have that dunk at the end, everybody's going to be shitting on him for going 1 of 6 from 3 and missing shots. Even though he was great. That's how they called it with the Dwight Powell passing revelation. I mean, I thought everyone kind of knew Dwight Powell has always been kind of a decent passer. I mean, I know I troll, do a little light trolling here. But he is a smart passer. I mean, Dwight Powell's a smart player. That's why they like him. It's not hard to see why they like him. He's smart. He makes the right play, it feels like, more often than not. He's not going to make any, like, super big mistakes. That's why he plays. That's why he's been in the league so long. That's why, despite how much Mavs fans hate him, there was apparently a market for him in free agency this past summer. So, you know, it is what it is. Hardy should get Curry's minute. Derrick Jones Jr. is consistent with his effort in defense. His shot is inconsistent. Grant's inconsistent with his whole game. I think Grant's effort level on defense is consistent. Yeah, that Dwight Powell and one saved the game. I mean, the Mavericks were down 6 at that point with what, like 4 minutes left? Dwight Powell gets that tough and one to go. And yeah, the Mavs are back in action. And then Kyrie hits a 3. Yeah, 3:53. Anthony Edwards hits a 2 to make it a 6-point game. Next trip down, Dwight Powell and 1. Ant misses a 3. Kyrie hits a 3 in Kyle Anderson's eyeball to tie it. Then Kyrie hits a corner 3 off a Dwight Powell assist. Boom. 40-point lead. The Mavericks don't look back. Just a real impressive performance from the Mavericks. I mean, really it is. These are the games where you look at, especially at this point in the season, you know, with the trade deadline approaching, these are the games you want to see where it's like, okay, you know, maybe a smart trade or two, and don't know if this team can win the finals or make the finals, but they could be pretty fucking tough in the playoff. Would you give it up for Dodo? It's interesting because I think Dodo fits exactly what they want. I think Dodo fits exactly what they would look for. It's just tough. The Mavericks just aren't in a great spot with their trade assets. it's tough to commit to like trading it first. Mavs fans want Spence back in a Dodo trade. Spencer Dinwiddie was benched at the end of the game yesterday for the Nets. Kind of interesting. I was watching that game. The Nets announcers were very confused as to what the fuck was happening. But just a really impressive showing defensively for a team that has quietly become a pretty solid defense. A top 10 defense since December 1st. And that's a 20-game sample. It's not like that's a 5-game sample. I mean, that's a pretty solid sample size. 20 games. And a top 5 defense in their last 8 games. So, kind of interesting. Chris Boucher, gross. Sorry, no. I don't think Chris Boucher is good at all. Where's Siakam going? Have we done a slightly early since the weird Siakam Kings thing that lasted 20 minutes? I'm very intrigued by the Siakam stuff. I'm still dying on the hill that I actually don't think he gets traded. I'm like still willing to die on that hill. And it helps that the Raptors have been pretty solid lately too. So maybe the Raptors see they're winning games and they're like, okay, it does make sense for us to trade these older guys and build around some of these younger dudes. I just don't know what his market would be. It's really strange to me. Luka's defense was great yesterday. Yeah, it really was. The thing with Luka is if you get him one-on-one defensively, I actually feel okay with that. Like if Luka's defending a guy one-on-one, I feel pretty comfortable that he's going to at least do good or at least slow down the guy enough so that, he's not getting beat immediately and the defense has to collapse and rotate. It's off ball is where I get concerned with Luka. Off ball is where things get concerning or Luka's, not paying attention or ball watching or dies on an off ball screen or whatever the case may be. On ball, really, he's as solid as you could want. I think he's not incredible, but he's very, very solid. Like he said, he's got great legs. He's a strong boy. He can handle those guys in the post. For the Timberwolves side of things, you guys are starting to see why I'm not like in love with them. I'm not in love with them. I haven't had them in like my contender tier in the power rankings. There's something about their offense late in games where I'm just like, ugh. Something about it where I'm just like, ugh. Okay. Like there's gonna be a playoff game where Anthony Edwards has 8 turnovers. There's gonna be a playoff game where Cat plays 14 minutes because he's in foul trouble the entire fucking game. And Anthony Edwards, man, 36 points. This has been a string of performances for Anthony Edwards where the scoring looks really good. But watching the games, I don't feel like he has like the real impact. Like, were you terrified as Mavericks fans? Were you terrified of Anthony Edwards at any point in this game? Genuinely. At any point, you're like, fuck, Anthony Edwards is about to take this shit over. I honestly never felt that way. I never felt like Anthony Edwards was on the verge of taking this game over. Hey! So I don't know. It was 36 points. 36 points, but I thought that Luca and Kyrie were just better. New Woj tweet about Draymond in a new edition of the Draymond Green show. Draymond Green threatened retirement. Yeah, nice to see that Draymond's taking accountability for this. Nice to see Draymond taking accountability for his actions immediately. Hey, guys, I was about to retire. Like, it's just too much for me. I'm about to retire. Want me to change? I'm taking my ball and going home. Yeah, that is literally what it is. That's literally what he's saying. A new edition of the Draymond Green show. Hey, he's a content king. You got to give him that. You got to give him that. He's a content king. You really think he's about to retire? He just signed a $100 million contract. He's about to retire. What up, Craig? So anyways, great win for the Mavs. I honestly, like, it, not like a disastrous loss or anything for the Timberwolves. Just Luke-Kai backcourt got the better of him. So what? All right, let's talk about the Siakam trade thing, because I don't think we've done slightly early since the weird King stuff. You make a great point, Manny, about it felt like the Hawks were like a real legitimate suitor for Siakam. It made sense for a lot of different reasons. But now that they're fucking horrible, and it looks like they're actually going to be sellers, and they should, and they might be going a completely, totally different direction, where trading for Siakam and then paying him like $40 million makes no sense for them. Now the Siakam market looks really weird. And honestly, it might make some more sense for the Raptors at this point, just to be like, all right, we traded OG, we got a pretty decent return back. We love having Quickly. RJ Barrett had a great game last night against the Warriors. Maybe we just keep Siakam and extend him, and if we want to trade him next season, we can do it. Which is funny, because I shit all over the Raptors for not trading these guys earlier, and now I'm saying, well, it might just make more sense to keep them. But that is their fault, though. That is their fault for not trading these guys when they probably should have been traded long ago. But we already know with RJ, if he's making shots, it's fine. It's just consistently, can he make shots? Oh, this is why you guys say you wanted Chris Boucher because he went off last night? Man, this Warriors team stinks. Kings won't give up Keegan. Pacers won't give up Jarris. Hawks won't give up Jalen. Yeah, and that's where the market gets really weird, because those teams are in the right for not wanting to give up those guys for what could potentially be a few months of Pascal Siakam. And then on the flip side, if you're the Raptors, it's like, oh, great. What are the Kings offering me? Kevin Huerter, who's been fucking horrible this year, and Davion Mitchell, who's not even in the rotation anymore and is a 6-foot guard who can't play offense. And who's the other guy that they were offering? Some other dog shitter. Like, yeah, you know, why do I want to do that? Like some middling first-round picks? Okay. Who are the Hawks offering? Who are the Hawks offering? AJ Griffin? Does he even like basketball? I mean, what's going on with him? Onyeka Okongwu and Sadiq Bey? Okongwu's been disappointing this year. I don't think Sadiq Bey's good, and you have to pay Sadiq Bey? Okay. Buffkin's been going off in the G League. I'm not ready to give up on Kobe Buffkin. Kobe Buffkin going off in the G League. It's only a matter of time before they trade DeJounte Murray away and Kobe Buffkin steps in to be the prince who was promised next to Trae Young. I'm not ready to give up on Kobe Buffkin. Steph Curry has quietly been pretty bad lately. And gone are the days where the Warriors could survive a Steph Curry inefficient shooting game. It is kind of crazy. He had that. How long was that streak of at least one 3-point make in games? He's had 2 over from 3 games lately. Kind of crazy. Did the Mavericks save Jarris Walker? I mean, why would the Pacers trade him? But yeah, I'm sure I would love to have Jarris Walker. What the Pacers are doing, Jarris Walker is a crime. I think Omax would be in any deal where the Mavs trade for a big name player. Yeah, probably. Revive Jarris? What do you mean revive Jarris Walker? He's a rookie who has barely played. I think he's going to be okay. Anyways, what's next for this Warriors team? I don't know. Wiggins has been terrible. And Wiggins has, 3 or 4 years left on his contract? I mean, it's not like that's a real desirable trade piece. Like, everyone really, I've seen Mavs fans have really beat the drum about him, and I guess I'd be okay, but it's a risky one. It's a risky one. If it's a change of scenery thing and Wiggins kind of goes back to looking how he looked during that finals run, then great. You did a really good job. You got him on a bargain. Like they do one last trade to try and win, then blow it up. Yeah, that could be what they do. Like, all right, we're going to make one push here. But they're also 17 and 19. Like, how long do you wait? If you wait until the trade deadline, and let's say you keep dropping games, and now you're like 4 games out of the play-in, you might not make the play-in. Like, if you wait too long, you might find yourself in a very dangerous spot. Yeah, the West is an absolute bloodbath. Mavs are 6th, 22 and 15. Would comfortably be 4th in the West, in the East. Classic. But hey, man, yeah, the Mavs. Hold on a second. 4 games back from the 1 seed. 4 games back from the 1 seed. It's got to be sickening if you're like a Pelicans fan. Your team's been rattling off wins. You've, by a lot of advanced metrics, been one of the best teams in the NBA since the in-season tournament. And how the fuck are you 7th? Like, wait, we've been winning. How are we 7th? How are the Kings still holding on? Like, how are the Kings 5th? This is like a polar bear in Arlington moment here. Who knows what's going to happen with the Warriors? Who knows? The Kings, like, not only can the Kings not beat the Pelicans, but they can't not get their ass kicked. Pelicans lead this season series 4-0. And it's pretty much been an ass kicking every single time. De'Aaron Fox, 3 points in this game. Wow. Of course, classic. I made a while ago, to be fair, a video like, damn, De'Aaron Fox kind of looks like he's been like an MVP. Quietly, like, been pretty bad lately. And I saw some Kings fans, believe it or not. De'Aaron Fox skipped out on a post-game presser. Didn't speak to the media. And Kings fans were like, man, this guy's kind of soft. I saw it. Kings fans said, man, this guy's kind of soft. Interesting. Just taking notes. Just sitting back and observing. When the Pelicans are clicking, man, they're good. No, Zion didn't even play in this game. Give me the Kings in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be very scared of the Kings in the playoff series. Kings and Pacers remind me a lot of the Mavs, except the Mavs have Luca and Kai, and the Mavs playing much better defense lately. Oh, I mean, don't make no mistake about it. The Mavericks defense is much, much better than the Pacers defense for sure. Much better. And I do think their defense is better than the Kings' defense as well. Believe it or not. I've been watching a lot of Kings games lately, mainly because they've been on a bit of like a homestand, and they're like, the late games. Even in these wins against the Raptors and Magic, I didn't leave feeling like great about them. This was a crazy double overtime game where Malik Monk went crazy to his credit. But Powell was like legit out there by himself for the Magic. It was a valiant effort. Powell's been going crazy lately. Mavericks offense has been lagging lately due to more effort on defense. Well, that and Kyrie's missed so much time, and before Kyrie came back, it was starting to look a little rough for the Mavericks offensively, but been much better the last 3 games. I mean, their offense was really good last night against the best defense in the league. What else happened around the league? The Spurs-Cavs game, the hilarious sequence at the end. Wemby has another great game, but the hilarious sequence at the end. I don't think people realize that Wemby's putting up these stats on a minute restriction, playing like 24 minutes. Kind of crazy when you think about it like that. Let's see. His last 5 games for Wemby, only 25 minutes per game, but he's scoring 24 points per game, nearly 5 blocks per game, 53% from the field, 36% from deep. Draymond almost retired because he can't stop punching people in the face. Yeah, kind of embarrassing. Too much for me, Adam. Ask me to not punch people in the face is too much. Anyways, the last play of this game was just a hilariously weird sequence where there's 7 seconds left, shot clock off, the Cavs are up 2 and they have the ball. And for some reason, they attempt to shoot the ball. They attempt to shoot the ball. It was just let me see if I can find a clip of it. Because it was just like it was just a huge fuck up. A compilation of fuck ups. Where Wemby gets a block on a shot that shouldn't have even gone up. A shot that shouldn't have even gone up for the Cavs. Wemby blocks it. The Spurs don't use a timeout for one reason or another. And Sohan misses a half-court heave. That would have won the game, but Cavs are real when Mobley, Garland, and Don are all healthy. Jay carried them. Yeah, Jared Allen's been really good lately. It does kind of make you think, like, all right, could we flip Jared Allen or maybe even Mobley in a crazy world for something else that makes sense? Because maybe the too big thing just doesn't really work the way you'd want it to. You know, 29 for Jared Allen, 16 rebounds. He's been really good lately. Trailblazers beat the Nets. The Nets are in a bad, bad way, guys. In a bad, bad, bad way. Overtime loss to Portland. Anthony Simons has been really good this season. Damn, he had 11 assists too. I'm actually kind of impressed with how Anthony Simons handles double teams and blitzes on pick and rolls. Like, genuinely am pretty impressed with how comfortable he looks in those moments. He's blossoming into something pretty special. I don't know, really. It makes things weird. It does make things weird because these three can't like all coexist next to each other. They just can't. Sharp, Simons, and Scoot. Like, that's just not. One of those guys has to be on the move. And who's he going to be? Like, you have the very high ceilings of both Shaedon Sharpe and Scoot, but Anthony Simons is like far and away the best player of the three. It's like, I don't think they would trade Scoot. I don't think they would trade Sharpe. But how could you trade Simons at this point? But they might not trade any of them, but they're going to need to at some point. Like, those three just can't. Yeah, Mikal Bridges had a nice game. 42 points. Had a big shot late in the game to tie it in the fourth quarter. But they still can't pull out a win. Just not a good team. Just not a good team. Yeah, Bridges' defense hasn't been nearly as good, but he's also being asked to do way more offensively. I mean, look at this shit. A whole lot of red. A whole lot of red lately. Mikal did. And the bad thing is for the Nets is they don't have their pick. So tanking and bottoming out is not a good solution for them. But I guess it's like, man, you know what? If we're going to lose games anyways. That's a brutal one. Especially after beating the Thunder. Like, beating the Thunder pretty comfortably, too. Granted, they did almost blow a 32-point lead or something like that in that game. The Thunder made it uncomfortably close. But that felt like it could have been like, all right, let's turn our season around. But no, next game out, we're going to lose to the fucking Trailblazers. The Hawks and the Magic. How did the Hawks end up blowing this fucking game? Admittedly, I don't know. Because I watched the first half of this game. I thought the Hawks were cruising to a win. God, DeJounte stinks. Like, he stinks. I honestly, like, what would his trade market even be? I got to be real. If I'm a team, I'm not, like, uber excited about trading for DeJounte. People keep saying the Knicks. Why? I don't like that at all. Am I the only one who does not like that fit? We have watched DeJounte Murray play alongside another small guard, with the promise being DeJounte Murray can play defense and be an off-ball guy. Guess what? It's fucking sucked. It's also been terrible. I just really, like, if his mid-range, his game is relying on mid-range jumpers, and if those aren't dropping, I don't know what else he brings to the table. He's not good defensively. He'll get a few steals here and there, but just not a very good defender. Not a great playmaker. I don't know. 14 and 21. Wow. It's funny. I saw a comment that said, Before the season started, DeJounte Murray said that the play-in tournament was not an option for the Hawks. Someone was like, yeah, he was right. Clint Capella has been a disaster this season, too. I mean, it's just like, thank God. Thank God. All of the mock trades, Mavs fans, that we made all summer about getting the team a center and doing this, and that, all of the centers that we mock traded to the Mavs have been terrible. Minus Jared Allen. And even then, I don't think the Jared Allen one was even realistic. Paolo continues to just be incredible. Breaking out in a huge way. Caleb Houston. I got to talk about this dude real quick. Hilarious. I think they said on the broadcast that he had a 93% three-point attempt rate, which is by far the highest in the NBA. If you're wondering what that means, that means 93% of his shots are three-point attempts. He went 8 of 15 in this game, 7 of 14 from 3. 3-point attempt rate, 93%. Absolutely crazy. Houston and Goga taking Fultz and Wendell Carter Jr. spots is crazy. Yeah, the Goga stuff is insane. The Goga stuff is crazy. Out of nowhere. My pal has been incredible. Wendell Carter Jr. getting traded doesn't really make sense to me. No, I don't think they would do it either. Any other games? The Nuggets beat the Pistons. Jokic attempted how many shots? Was it 2? 3 shots total. Jokic attempted 3 shots. Only scored 4 points. But had 16 assists, 5 blocks, 7 rebounds. I mean, literally just walking around. It's like if you play 2K, your my career, like your guy gets so good that it's just like you could score 80 points every fucking game if you wanted to. But sometimes you just are like, you know what? I'm not going to shoot in this game. Like, I'm not going to shoot. Just to like switch things up. Hilarious. People are saying he's the anti-Embiid, intentionally tanking points per game versus lottery teams. That's pretty funny. Yeah, he already had it. Yeah, he just needed to up his playmaking badges. I respect it. I do. Grizzlies beat the Suns. The Ja Morant-less Grizzlies beat the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, another fourth quarter shitting. They're just like in this perpetual mode as a team where like once you start feeling good about them, they just crash back down to earth. They go on a 4-game winning streak, granted against some pretty bad opponents. And you're like, okay, here we go. They're figuring it out after the horrible loss at home to the Mavericks. They're starting to figure it out a little bit. You know, we're starting to move on. They now lost 2 of their last 3 against the Clippers with no KD. That's a tough one. Whatever. Beat the Heat, nice. Then lose with all your big 3 playing. Lose to the Grizzlies without Ja Morant at home. Oof. Tough. Tough scene. This has been a disastrous fourth quarter team all year long. And it doesn't make sense because you should be good in the fourth quarter. You have Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. Like any of those guys should be able to take a game over. No excuse for you to be that bad in the fourth. No excuse. No, KD played. He was out, but he did play in this game. And the Lakers get a really nice win against the Clippers. A really nice win. Weird stuff with Kawhi, who didn't have a great game, but like, why was he subbed out at the end of that game? And then Ty Lue, who's an incredible coach, and he's been great this year, but Ty Lue burns a timeout with 2:30 left to get Kawhi back in the game, and that was their last timeout. So the Clippers used their last timeout in what was a 3-point game at the time with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. They go to the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds without a timeout. Interesting. And that Norman Powell shot at the end, I thought that was going in. I don't know if I've seen a shot look more like it was going in and not go in. That Norman Powell shot at the end. Yeah, that would have been hilarious if it did go in because here's the video. I mean, look how close this shit was to going in. Holy. Just hilarious. Lakers up 3 with 4 seconds left. Norman Powell dribbling. That's an easy foul decision right there. Just foul his ass. Like, Norman Powell should not be getting a look this good. Wow, how did that not go in? Oh, God. I fear Norman Powell and Naz Reid more than Jokic and Embiid. Derrick Jones Jr. on the percentage of NBA guys who have no chance to defend Luca Doncic and Kyrie Irving. I'm guarding them two, probably 98%, and the other 2% is me. Love it. Absolutely love it. But anyways, nice win for the Lakers. They desperately needed a nice win, and they got one. Played a good game defensively. Let's see if this is a turning moment in the season, a turning point for the Lakers. Do they figure stuff out now? Golden State or LA Lakers who misses the playoffs? I would say right now the Warriors just look like a bad team, straight up. The Lakers, LeBron and AD are playing great. They got a lot of one-dimensional guys, but it feels like they could pull it out. Feels like they could pull it out of the mud more than the Warriors, who just feel like a disaster of a team currently. All right, what's the slate of games today? There was I kind of want to read this article. Tim Bontemps, biggest questions, moves, and insights surrounding the 2024 trade deadline. I kind of want to read that real quick. But tonight we have a fairly busy slate of games. Bulls, Hornets, Celtics, Pacers. That could be kind of fun. Thunder, Wizards, Rockets, Heat. Could be fun. Jazz, Bucks. Sneaky fun game right there. And Suns and Clippers. Both teams on the second night of a back-to-back there. A pretty fun slate of games. Jazz beating the Bucks. I could see it, actually. Sneaky one right there. Sneaky, sneaky. The Mavs play at 1:30 p.m. next Monday on Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King Day. People talk about the Kings, or the Kings. People talk about the Christmas Day game as Christmas Day is like the best NBA games. Martin Luther King Day is sneaky one of the better days too. Just games all day long. They should really hype this up more, in my opinion. Like, there's one game on NBA TV, 2 games on TNT. These should be like a full national television slate. ESPN, TNT. Like, take advantage of this day where nothing else is happening in sports. A lot of people are home. MLK Day has become a national holiday. Wasn't that kind of recently that became like a national holiday? Part of me wants to say we used to have to go to school on MLK Day. My memory might be off, but like I almost feel like we used to have to go to school. I know MLK Day's been around a while, but I'm saying like it being a national holiday. Oh, Juneteenth is the newest federal holiday? Okay. Like, for some reason in my head, I thought that I used to have to go to school on MLK Day. But maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, let's just read this. Is there anything interesting in this? Biggest questions, moves, and insights surrounding the 2024 trade deadline. Which star is most likely to be moved before the deadline? Bobby Marks. Pascal Siakam is not off the limits. All right, it's going to be Pascal Siakam, Zach LaVine. Kind of a... If those are the guys, it's kind of a shitty trade them. I'm just going to be honest. Siakam's pretty big. But, like, if Zach LaVine... And I still don't even think Siakam's getting traded. So, if Zach LaVine's the biggest name to get traded... Kind of a bummer. Siakam... Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, okay. Siakam and LaVine. Which team is currently in the top 3 of the standings? Okay. Most needs to make a trade to solidify itself as a contender. Sounds like the Celtics are going to make a move. I saw a report on that earlier. The Sixers actually have a pretty solid like haul for a trade if they wanted to make a big move. Which team currently outside the top 6 in the West? Haha, they're not outside the top 6 anymore. Lakers by default. The Dallas Mavericks and Phoenix Suns have nothing to trade. All right, don't lump the Mavericks in with the Suns. The Suns absolutely have nothing to trade. The Mavericks could make a trade if they wanted to. Lakers. Which player on the league's bottom 5 teams could most help a contender in a trade? Boyan, Jetty Osman, and Doug McDermott. Those are the guys we're talking about. It might be a boring trade deadline, folks. Over under 12 trades at the deadline this season. There were 15 trades deadline week last season, 12 on that Thursday. Over? I'm going to go under. Not a lot of insight in that article. I thought there'd be some interesting little tidbits, and there's not really. Can't wait for the deadline stream. Yeah, that is one of the best streams of the season. I'm trying to decide. I've been thinking about the deadline stream. Do I do it on YouTube, similar to how we did it, or do I make a power play move and do it on here? Like, hey, I've been wanting you guys to come hang out on my playback channel, and now I'm forcing it. The one thing I want about playback is I want more control over this stream. You know, I want to do the effects. I want to do the green screen stuff. If I were able to do that, I would say for sure here. But I do like having a bit of like the production value on the trade deadline stream. So anyways, a pretty interesting slate of games. We are now, isn't the trade deadline the 8th of February? So we are now, what, a month away from the trade deadline officially? Starting to ramp up. Probably see some trades. In the near future. I just think there's a lot of teams right now across the NBA that can't really afford to sit around and wait a month. And I think there's also a couple teams that are like, we know who we are. We don't give a fuck. We'll start trading guys away. Like, do we really think the Warriors have the luxury of just waiting around? Like, just waiting around another month? I don't think they have that luxury. Should be interesting. All right, guys. Again, if you watch this on YouTube, you can check these out on playback.tv/slightlybiased every morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you missed part of the stream, if you're in playback.tv/slightlybiased right now, you missed part of the stream, you can check it out on the Slightly Biased Clips channel. Okay.